right, so before we jump into tonight's episode, I just want to take a moment to thank our sponsor for today, which, again, is HelloFresh.
Wow.
Do you feel like you're stuck in a dinner rut? Well, with HelloFresh, you get pre-measured ingredients with mouth-watering seasonal recipes that are delivered straight to your door. Skip all those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. You can now enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in 30 minutes or less, and with over 25 recipes to choose from each and every week, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Every recipe is designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. Go to the link in our show notes to get $80 off your first order of HelloFresh, including free shipping for HelloFresh, the #1 meal kit. And away we go. What is up, folks? What's going on? Welcome into another episode of America's Hometown Horror. My name is Mike. I am the host of your show, and of course, I am not alone here today. I am joined by my fellow co-hosts. Good to have us. My esteemed co-host. Yes, sorry, I forget that from time to time. They are very esteemed.
How do you forget that word? And we do this every time.
True. So my esteemed co-host, one of which who already has chimed in, that would be Catherine. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
What's new?
Not too much. What's new with you?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. And of course, next to Kat in studio with us is Andrew. What's up, pal?
Not much. How we doing, guys?
Very good.
Excellent.
Very good. Good to have the three of us back in studio. I know it's been a couple of weeks because we had our live stream a week ago today with Tony from Spooky World the movie talking about gateway horror movies. So special thanks to Tony for hopping on and joining us. Awesome time having him, and we get to talk about some pretty cool horror movies, and also got some pretty awesome reveals on that live stream, including the poster for the movie, the reveal of the website, the reveal of the trailer, and you can also go on the website and view a 6-minute sizzle reel for this movie, which looks like, by all accounts, it is going to be absolutely awesome. So, thanks again to Tony. You guys have a good time doing that one?
Oh, that was awesome.
Always a good time.
Anytime doing one with Anthony.
Yeah.
I like calling him Anthony. Hey, Tony! Hey, Tony.
Shout out.
Anthony. Hey, so
that was fun.
Yeah, and then actually, it's kind of a good segue. Spooky World the movie. We're going to be talking about our first haunted attraction of the season this year. Give our review for the first time this year, which anytime it is haunted attraction time is a great season in my books, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I'm excited to talk about this tonight. But we are in the throes of the full throes of spooky season here. I know that I've watched a couple of pretty good horror-related things recently. What about you guys? Anything that you watched that you wanted to report on?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think, but I don't. I mean, we watched some of that Creep Show thing.
Yes, we did. Yeah, Creep Show Season 3. We watched an episode of that. I've been catching up on that.
I don't think I've really watched. I'm kind of under celebrating the high holiday here.
Yeah,
so far.
We better change that.
It's still not too far into October yet.
Yeah, you better change that.
We've been watching spooky stuff all year, so I mean.
I know, it's true. That is definitely true. But hey, it's now the time where you can watch something like every night.
Yeah, like Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, like Hocus Pocus. I'm sure that'll pop up. Well, we have 21 days left in October to watch spooky stuff. Andrew, what about you? I know.
I haven't really watched too much lately.
So we watched, we the three of us all watched Possessor together, right? Did we talk about that in the last show?
Right.
I brought that up on one of the episodes that I had seen it, but I didn't talk about when we all watched it.
Yeah, we talked about it when we talked about Season of the Witch.
Yes,
But the three of us watched it together after that, and that was definitely a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Pretty messed up,
I
but
know.
pretty good.
Yeah, that movie's very, it's different.
Yeah.
And some of the scenes are a little over-the-top gruesome, but I liked it.
Yeah, typical, it's directed by Brandon Cronenberg, who's the son of David Cronenberg, famous for all of his body horror movies. And you can see his father's legacy shining through in Possessor for sure in some certain
very
scenes.
much so.
Yeah, so I watched and finished last week Midnight Mass on Netflix.
Was the ending underwhelming?
I thought it was great.
Okay.
I'd say don't spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil it because I know you guys haven't seen it yet.
I do want to watch it.
It was really, really good. You can't really say too much about it without spoiling it. I guess a brief synopsis of the summary is that there is a guy. There's a basically this small town on an island, and this guy returns to his hometown after serving time in prison for killing somebody in a drunk driving accident. And at the same time that he returns home, there is this new Catholic priest that shows up on the island as well, and all of this weird stuff starts to happen, kind of, some miracles, some weird stuff, and it just kind of goes bananas towards the end. So I would say if you have somehow avoided spoilers for Midnight Mass to this point and you haven't seen it yet, I would highly recommend that you check that out. It's well worth your time, and the acting in it is fantastic. Fantastic. So I would recommend that very highly. I know I kind of I shared some thoughts about that on Instagram when I finished it last week. So I would definitely recommend you go check that out for sure. And then, Andrew, I know I was talking to you about this, but I also watched a movie called No One Gets Out Alive.
Yes.
Which is a Netflix exclusive that came out last week, and that is from the same writer and production team behind the awesome Netflix film that came out a few years ago, The Ritual.
Yeah.
And that movie was awesome.
That, yeah.
And this, not an entirely similar story, but there are similar elements, is what I would say. At first, it kind of looks like you're getting a straightforward haunted house type story, and it kind of evolves into something very different towards the end, which, again, I won't spoil. But what I will say is if you were a fan of The Ritual, you should absolutely check this movie out. It's unique, just like that movie was, and there's some really cool stuff. Unique New York. Yeah. So that's what I got. Anything else going on? Anything else new that we want to cover before we jump into our review of Barrett's Haunted Mansion for this year?
I watched The Exorcist Part 3 last night, and
nice.
That's all I needed. That,
yeah.
So that's
nice.
I watched that.
Yeah. Why? Why did you do that?
I don't know. I was putting something on. I got home late from work, and it was like 11:30, and I was like, something that I didn't really want to watch, because if I fell asleep, I would be upset that I missed it. So I was like, this is probably terrible. I'll throw this on for some. And it was pretty terrible.
Is that the one with that hallway scare, the third one, or is that Exorcist 2?
It's the one where the detective, they're searching for, like, there's a serial killer that they think he's been dead for 15 years. His demon is possessing people to commit
murders. Okay. Yeah, I think I've seen that a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's the unfortunate thing. Like,
nice.
when you get the sequelitis, a lot of these movies kind of drop off in quality after some of the original ones.
I think it was a good pretense, good idea for a movie, but just wasn't really executed very well.
Yeah, for sure. All right, ready to talk some Barretts?
Yeah, let's talk.
All right, let's do it.
I love Barretts.
So, we already had our episode that we posted a couple weeks back where we sat down with Mary Barrett Costello, who is the owner and head creative mind behind Barrett's Haunted Mansion. If you haven't had a chance to listen to that yet, go back and give that a listen. That'll give you a good idea of some of the things that you can expect and some of the work that goes into this event each and every year. She was a pleasure to talk to. Thanks again to Mary for giving us her time.
You. She's great.
We also did get a chance to see her on Thursday night when we were getting tickets, which was great to see her again. But, I would say if you've listened to our show before, it's no surprise that, the special place that Barrett's Haunted Mansion holds in my heart, but kind of in all of ours.
Yeah.
I know that we've each been a different number of times. Andrew, you've been a few times. Mm-hmm. I've pretty much been going for the better part of, 28 years.
Same, yeah.
I started going at a very early age. First time I ever went was when my mother was volunteering there for the Lions School PTA in Randolph, Mass. And I was way too young to go. And from what I can remember, my mom mentioned my dad just carrying me out and me being very, very scared because I was in first or second grade. So probably a little too early, but I've loved it ever since. It's the haunted attraction that I've gone to the most. And, growing up where I did in Randolph, this is located in Abington. This was the most accessible haunted attraction, to me, which, obviously being the closest doesn't necessarily guarantee quality. But with that being said, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a local haunt that does a better job than Barrett's does each and every year. You can really feel the passion from everyone that works here, whether it's the actors, from Mary herself, or the people that we talked to when we went there and we were walking through the attractions, that showed us everything they built. You can just tell that they love doing what they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is awesome to see. That's what you want, is people that are into it, are passionate about it, work hard, and do a great job.
It makes it so much better. You can feel the love.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And I think the difference between a place like Barrett's Haunted Mansion and somewhere like the new Spooky World, Nightmare New England, up in New Hampshire, is that Barrett's changes everything each and every year. It's new every year, which is a tall order.
And
very
this year
difficult
was
to
special.
do. This year was very special. Even though I will say, so Spooky World did actually add a new attraction this year, which eventually when we get back there, I'd love to check it out. Yeah, so I think this year is no different. The event's excellent. It's different. It's very, very good. And it's just one of my favorite things to do every October. You know, my October's my birthday month. I love Halloween. I love the fall.
I was going to say, I'm like, someone has a birthday coming
I do.
up.
Your birthday, son.
Big old 3-5.
It's your birthday.
Halfway to 70. Yeah,
Halfway
baby.
to 70, great. But yeah, one of my favorite things to do is around my birthday go to the Abington Ale House, hang out on the patio, which they trick out in all kinds of Halloween decorations, have a few drinks, get some buffalo chicken dip.
Oh, you have
That's
to.
one of the best things
You
about
have
it is
to
that
get
they
it.
have really
Yeah.
good food
They
there.
have
Yeah.
Oh my
And
god,
you can have
that's
the
awesome.
pops,
And then
nice burger.
the burger I had the other night was good. And once you finish, then go walk through Barrett's Haunted Mansion. Yeah, so we did exactly that. The other night we went there. We met a bunch of friends. We had a few drinks on the patio. We had some food.
Fright and bite.
Did the Fright and Bite deal, which I'll get into all the different ticket options they have here shortly. But just a couple of quick facts about Barrett's Haunted Mansion before we get into our discussion about the event and everything else. So 2021 is their 30th year in operation, which is crazy. They've been around as long as Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, doing it since the early 90s. Crazy to think they've been around for 30 years.
I know, yeah.
Which is just absolutely wild. And I think one of the most unique things about this is that it's, they own, obviously it's on site behind the Abington Ale House, and they own the property. So the haunted house sits there year round.
Right.
So you can go to the ale house at any point during the year and just, go say hi to your friend Barrett's Haunted Mansion. It's always right there. Always cool to see. I love driving by it on Route 18. Even if it's not even the haunt season, it's always nice to be able to to get a glimpse at Barrett's Haunted Mansion whenever you'd like. And obviously there's two attractions this year, one being the Haunted House and the other one being called Condemned, which is the outdoor attraction. They added that a few years back. It was called The Cell at one point. It was called Sanctuary, and now it's called Condemned with a new theme. And dare I say that is probably the best it's ever been, I think, this year.
Absolutely.
It was incredible. So, we'll get more into detail about everything in there in our, full event review coming up here shortly. But in terms of, actually, let me ask you this before we move into the ticket options and everything like that. What did you guys think of this event this year as compared to going to Screens and Screams last year? Obviously, that was something they had to do because of the pandemic.
Right.
We spoke very, very highly of that event last year when we went. We had an absolute blast. Two very different experiences. What did you guys like better?
I like this this year better.
Yeah.
I mean, Screens and Screams
Yes,
was
tough to
awesome.
say.
Screens and Screams.
Had I been dressed more appropriately, I probably would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah,
because
it
I
was
literally
cold.
freezing.
We definitely underdressed for that. That's for sure. Yeah.
I mean, it was fun because I haven't been to a drive-through in ages.
Drive
This
in.
was drive-in.
Yeah.
Drive-in.
Drive-in.
And
Probably
to
went to
see
drive-through this morning.
two really good movies, It and Killer Clowns from Outer Space, was awesome. But I like this year better because it's more the experience you're expecting. It's the anticipation of waiting to get in the house. Are you going to be scared? I think if we did it again, we did it this year with the group of people, so 6 of us went through it once for each one, which if you go by yourself or you go with one other person, you're definitely going to get scared.
Oh, yeah.
Probably
for
more.
sure.
I mean, I went in the front and I didn't get scared because, I'm just a tough guy.
Nothing
Mr.
ever
Tough
scares
Guy,
me.
yeah.
Scare me. It's different things that scare me. But no, I like this year better.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm with you there, too. I just think it was, obviously given the situation last year, it was awesome that they were even able to pull off any sort of event, and that was fantastic. But there's nothing like going through the actual haunted attraction itself, right?
Well, they're two totally different experiences. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, I remember saying this to Mary Barrett, was that I loved the drive-through. Oh my God, you have me saying drive-through now.
Yeah.
The drive-in experience was awesome.
Yeah.
But obviously, for them, it was way too much work. I mean, I think if they could have kept it going somehow, and it was going to be a reasonable thing
Yeah.
to like
Profitable
do it
for
again,
them? Yeah.
profitable and whatever, which it clearly wasn't, and they just made the best of a terrible situation. But it was a lot of fun last year. But I like this year better, obviously. But they're two totally different things.
Me too. Yeah, and it's incredibly well done, and I think this year
celebrating their 30th year, it was awesome.
You know,
they did a great job.
They kind of, in certain years, they've stuck to like almost like kind of one cohesive theme for parts of the house, and I feel like this year the house itself was completely different from room to room, and I thought that was a strength.
Yeah.
There were a lot of different, very detailed, intricate sets, different types of scares, different types of environments, which were all fantastic. So I really appreciated that about the event. And I think the new theme for the outdoor attraction this year, again, which is called Condemned, is a very cohesive, very interesting, very well executed theme. And you are completely immersed in this abandoned town that you are going through, and it is absolutely amazing, which more on that in a little bit. So, if you are looking to get to Barrett's Haunted Mansion, there's a couple of different ways that you can get tickets. Now, obviously, we already mentioned the best experience, in our opinion, is to go to the Ale House before. If you're able to go on a Sunday night or a Thursday night, you can do the Fright and Bite option, which that is $45 per person, which gets you into all the attractions and also gets you a meal off a prefix menu at the Abington Ale House. Yep. So I would say, obviously we all did this. What did you guys?
It's a
good
great
food
deal
options.
because, like, once you look at the menu, you're getting bang for your buck. Like some of they're, it's probably what was it, $30?
It's $35 for general admission. So you're getting a meal for
$10, and some of those meals are 16, 17.
Yeah, it's a good deal. It's a good deal.
$18, so it's well worth it if you. I mean, and they were good. You have pastas, burgers.
The Ale House is unbelievable food.
Really good food.
Anyway, so I just think it's a very good deal, and they have actually a pretty big menu to choose from.
It was a little big. It took me a while to pick.
Yeah, I was like, shit, I don't know what I want to get here. But yeah, it was. So that's what we did. Again, that's only available on Thursday and Sunday nights.
That's what I thought it was Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, Thursdays and Sundays. And then in addition to that, so they are also offering for the first time this year an upgraded Fright and Bite option, which again is also on Thursdays and Sundays. This option costs $85, but it is what they call the RIP character Fright and Bite, which is the same thing, ticket to both attractions, a meal at the Ale House, but you also get an interaction with some of the actors while you're eating.
Yeah.
So I think it's like photo opportunities, like that type of thing. It's a different environment. So that's kind of a cool experience, something that they haven't done before. I think that's a cool option if you're looking to do something like that.
I think your best bet's to go on a Thursday or Sunday night because you get less lines, too. That was great.
Yeah, that was one thing I was going to say, too. Obviously, it was a school night, so it wasn't as busy. I mean, I don't think we waited more than a half an hour for either one of these attractions.
Maybe the Condemned.
No,
Condemned one was a little bit longer.
That was maybe 30 minutes.
But I love that's part of it.
But you're in the line. They have movies playing.
Right. That's part of the experience.
It goes by fast.
I was incredibly happy that they brought back the TVs outside. So while you were in line, they were playing like clips from horror movies and showing like horror movie trivia on it. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
That's something that they've done in years past behind the actual haunted house on a big screen. And they would always, I just remember when they would transition from scenes to scenes and they would show facts, they'd do like that sound from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes. Yep.
When they switched through.
Loved it. Yeah.
Loved it. So good. So I'm happy they brought that back, for sure. All right, so yeah, $35 to get in without any of those options. Then Fright and Bite, $45. Character Fright and Bite, $85. You can also get an upgraded ticket, which they call an RIP ticket, which would get you front of the line access. That's $60. Now, if you were going to go on a Friday or a Saturday night, I'd probably recommend that you do this. Because the lines the front of the line pass.
Yeah.
Because the lines can get pretty long.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember waiting in line for like almost 2 hours.
Yeah, I've waited in line for a long time there before. A couple years ago, it was like me, you, Katie, and Ian when we went.
Yep.
We waited in line a long time that night.
Yeah.
I remember that. So, yeah, and then obviously this is also new for 2021. They kind of had to adapt the way they were doing like the Lights Out tour.
Yep.
They're calling it this year new for 21. It's called Night Terrors at Barrett's. This is $35. This is the description they have for it. So experience our attractions with only a failing flashlight to light your way. Try not to awaken the evil within as you make your way through. Beware if you hear something wandering nearby because it has certainly heard you. Wednesday, October 13th, experience night terrors at the Haunted Mansion. Wednesday, October 20th, experience night terrors at Condemned. Advanced online tickets required. Limited tickets available, and a waiver must be filled out prior to entering.
See, that sounds terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
That's
so I wonder if like you put your flashlight on one of the actors that are in there, then you get like,
yeah. So we did a version of this a few years back, and that was the most intense experience I've ever had.
Unleashed?
Darkness Unleashed, it was called a few years back. That was the most intense experience I've had there. It was Blackout because it was. I have a T-shirt that says "I survived the blackout." So that was the most intense experience I've ever had there before. It was by far the scariest because literally you are walking around the house in the pitch. Yeah, it was a glow stick, not even a flashlight, and it was horrifying.
It was just all black.
You signed the waiver because the actors can touch you, or at least they could at that point.
There was a guy who totally it made it feel like he was licking my face, but it was totally like a sponge.
It was like
and
a sponge.
I saw him like in a corner, and then all of a sudden I feel this voice thing on my face. I'm like, oh my god, what was that? Someone just licked my face.
So I would say, if you are looking for a more intense experience, you can get that on one of these night terror nights, which again on October 13th, this upcoming Wednesday, and then the following Wednesday, which is October 20th, and you have to get your tickets in advance. So, with that being said, you guys ready to talk about what actually we did, walking through everything? All right. So we made our way out of the ale house, closed our tab, walked over, and I misspoke earlier. So I said that there are 2 attractions. There's really kind of 2.5, 3, right? Because you get a little bit of a sneak peek at everything when you go to get your tickets, if you don't purchase them in advance online. But basically, the ticket booth, they have rearranged this year into a little mini 3-room haunted house, which if you listen to the episode we did with Mary, she mentioned that that's kind of a little taste for everyone that is, testing out how scary it is, and she has said that if you make it through these 3 rooms and get to where you can buy the tickets and you're too scared, obviously you don't have to buy a ticket, you can just leave. But I thought that was a cool way to kind of whet your appetite a little bit for everything to come, and it was incredibly well themed.
Oh, well, that's the thing too. You get to see how detail oriented they are with even just where you buy the tickets.
Yeah.
Like, everything about that was awesome. Like, I forgot that was, like, part of it. Mm-hmm. So we're waiting in line to buy tickets, and you guys went in first, and I just hear this loud screaming, and I thought it was Kat just screaming.
Of course,
loud. Yeah. No, because it sounded like you, and I was like, oh my god, is that Kat? I'm like, they're not going to let her in the haunted house now. She just screamed, like, from, like, the Boogity Man. Like,
the Boogity Man. But, I'm like, I just love the part where you come out of this, and basically where it's like the ticket counter and the counter where you can buy merchandise for this year is essentially tricked out like an old movie theater.
Yeah.
And all around they have posters of what the posters were for the events of, from all of the last 30 years.
So awesome, yeah.
So I actually snapped a couple of pictures of this, and I put them on Instagram so you can see them on our Instagram page. But it looks unbelievable.
It looks sick,
It looks so cool. That was just such a cool thing to do first. Yeah, so we did that, and then pretty much right from there, you start off this year at the the namesake attraction, which is Barrett's Haunted Mansion, which I would as we mentioned before, is fantastic as always. So here's how it's described for this year. Join us for a look back at some of our 30-year history of horror and prepare for the next evolution of fear. We're overflowing with new terrors and old nightmares. What will you remember and what will you pray to forget? Visit us this season and find out. So that's a good way of describing it. It's almost kind of a mashup of some, popular scenes from over the last 30 years with some new stuff thrown in there as well. So let's just go around the table here and give some thoughts on what you guys thought of it overall, and then if you had a favorite scene, favorite scare, favorite, setup. Yeah,
we're just talking about the house first.
Just the house first,
regular house,
yeah. So Andrew, why don't you go first?
So I thought it was awesome. Like, they did a really good job of just bringing back the hits. My favorite part of it was the subway train station
really
setup.
Cool,
that was fantastic.
Not that it was scary, but it was just so well done. Like, you start off in one of the train cars. Yep. And that's creepy enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you go through, and then you're underneath you're on the tracks.
Yep.
And there's that dude in the they got electrocuted, and half his legs are missing or something. That part was, I loved that part of it. The whole I just like how you're constantly like. It's almost like do you go underground? Like it feels like you're just constantly going down in this.
Yeah,
I don't know if you actually are.
No, so
because you start up in
you
the
start
house,
up and then you make your way down. You go downstairs.
It just seems like you're going down
yeah.
forever. But
yeah,
you kind of are.
Did that have the vortex too in it?
Yes.
There was a vortex.
That was extremely disorienting.
Don't talk about that. I'm
just saying.
Yeah. Well, there's also a scene where it seems like you're going through some caves with some flowing water, which that definitely feels like you're underground. That part was incredibly cool as well. But I thought the subway scene was fantastic as well.
So
it was just
creepy.
so well
It was like
done.
eerie. Like you just walk in and you're like, oh my god, whoa, and it's so like realistic, which was awesome. And
it's funny. I was talking to my dad last night because my mother and my father are going with a few of their friends to the Lights On tour. They're going Saturday the 23rd. They're going to do the Lights On. And I was like, Dad, you got to look for when you're walking through that subway scene. They have like a map on it.
Yeah.
Like so it looks like it's like a train from the T. If you're familiar with the
MBTA.
Well, I said subway because people are probably like, what the fuck is the T?
Yeah,
said that.
Well, I have to remember we probably have a good amount of we have a good amount of local listeners, but maybe people who aren't from Massachusetts might not know what the T is. But basically, it's our Boston transportation.
Transit.
But there are maps on all of these trains that kind of show like the route tree and where everybody goes, and each one of the stops on that map is a different horror movie reference.
Yeah,
that was
they had
really
like
cool.
Amityville, they had Haddonfield, bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
Just dawned on me, you know why I probably liked that scene the most is because when I was younger and we went to Universal, one of my favorite rides there was
Earthquake or King Kong.
Oh, King Kong, and you're on the like suspended train.
Yes.
And it's like,
yeah.
Oh, it was awesome. That was like
that King Kong ride was the shit.
I love that. That scared the shit out of me when I was a child.
Yeah, it's gigantic, like animatronic King Kong. It's pretty scary if you're not even a kid. If you're an adult, it's just like Jesus Christ. Yeah. So subway scene. Check that out for sure. Catherine, what about you?
Andrew already kind of mentioned it slightly. I really like the vortex. Those I love those. I always like the one the house in Spooky World with it's all like what is it, 3D black lights or whatever, I forget the name of it, but they had a vortex too. I love, like I see them and I'm like, yay! It was like I love that it's disorienting. I love that it's like black and like the glow, black light stuff. It's so cool.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't that where you stop to take a picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, why are we?
Don't say that though.
This picture right here.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm gonna say that because I thought someone passed out. Yeah, you're not supposed to.
I know.
And also, there's a reason why. Because in that one, I'm standing there for like 20 extra seconds, and I'm getting dizzy as fuck because I'm like, why aren't we walking through this? And I'm like. I'm like, thanks, Kat. Oh, glad you had to take a picture of the most disorienting part. And I was my equilibrium was thrown off on that. Getting annoyed.
I actually, overall, it was really cool that when we did the interview with Mary, and she walked us through the house before it was totally finished.
Yeah.
To see everything with the lights on and and then go back and actually experience the whole thing.
Yeah.
After seeing it once was awesome.
Yeah,
because then I actually I was the first one in the house, and I genuinely was, looking around and taking it all in, and I feel like I never do that because I'm so terrified, and I just, grip to the back of your shoulders and put my head on your back and just, kind of walk through just to get through it, but it was nice to, kind of look around and appreciate all of the work and effort that went into it. It was awesome.
Yeah,
There's
I agree.
so many details, even, yes, I'm just gonna end it there. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Touche.
Yeah, the vortex scenes are always awesome too. Just.
But I love the one with the MBTA subway was also really cool too.
Yeah, and I would say in addition to those scenes, some other cool standout ones for me. Having a lifelong paralyzing fear of clowns. That is a direct result of Barrett's Haunted Mansion.
Absolutely.
There's no shortage of clowns at the event this year, so you'll get those. I think the first room that you go through is entirely clowns.
And it's mirrors, too.
Yeah, mirrors.
Mirrors and clowns. So you have no idea if someone's actually in front of you or not or whatever. It's awesome.
You get that cave scene that I mentioned that has some actual running water in it. That's very impressive to see walking through it. You get your backwoods hillbilly, almost kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre-ish type scene. You get all kind some of the greatest hits. If you're into your traditional classic haunted house style, this is the part for you. It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Awesome time going through the house, and I would say, it's great every year, and this year is no different. There's a reason it's been around kicking for 30 years. Mm-hmm. This is the big attraction, the main attraction, the one that has been there the longest. So, Barrett's Haunted Mansion itself, the actual haunted house, fantastic this year. Fantastic. All right, so before we talk about the outdoor attraction, Condemned, just a reminder that tonight's episode is brought to you by HelloFresh. And again, do you feel like you're stuck in a dinner rut? Well, if you are, HelloFresh gets you pre-measured ingredients with mouth-watering seasonal recipes that are delivered right to your door. Skip all those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking fun, easy, and affordable. You can now have dinner, you can now enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in 30 minutes or less. With over 25 recipes to choose from each week, there's something for everyone to enjoy, and all recipes are designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. Go to the link in our show notes to get $80 off, including free shipping on HelloFresh, the #1 meal kit. All right, so let's talk about Condemned. This is the outdoor attraction, which, as I mentioned, opened several years back. Was called the Cell at first, was called the Sanctuary. Might have been called something else, but it's now called Condemned. And it is new for this year, including a brand new theme. And here is the very detailed description, because, again, I mentioned I thought this kind of was a very cohesive story, kind of immersive environment, very different from the haunted house itself, which kind of had a bunch of different scenes that were completely different from one room to the next. This was a very cohesive experience. It kind of flowed very nicely as you're walking through this condemned town.
I liked the... Sorry, I'm going to interject myself. No, but I really liked the rock music. Like the
rock music.
The metal music was awesome.
It was very cool.
Sorry, okay, keep going.
Right. So basically, here's their description pulled directly from their website for the theme this year. So in August 1992, McTeal Industries was built with a small community within it to produce PW30. Jesus, if I can only talk.
P. Sherman, 42 Welby Way, Sydney.
A nitrogen oxide-based pesticide. In October 1998, a nitrogen oxide leak was detected from the facility alarms. In an attempt to stop the leak, the staff suffered severe chemical burns. The unsuccessful attempt left the community severely exposed to the gases. Production continued despite the leak. In January 2000, with the demand for PW30 falling and costs to contain the leak increasing, McTeal was forced to start closing its facilities. The entire community was locked down on Friday, September 23, 2013, leaving those within to fend for themselves. Studies indicate that the level of NOx exposure has left the survivor's skin discolored, scarred, and their mental state possibly affected. Due to their altered appearance and forced adaptation to the environment, they are now referred to as Colro sapiens. Which, Colro, if you are familiar with colrophobia, that is the fear of clowns, which I have. So when they call them Colro sapiens, again, you get no shortage of clown-inspired makeup and characters at this year's event, and Condemned is no different. So, same thing. What did you guys think of Condemned? Did you have a favorite scene, favorite part? I can start with whoever's ready to go.
I'm ready.
Go
ahead.
You go.
I liked the theme in general. It was kind of like a Chernobyl
kind
of theme, like just an old town where there was nuclear exposure and everything was run down and kind of just like vagabonds walking around. And it was just really well done. Extreme attention to detail. Like every scene was excellent. I can't remember exactly if it was like a garden scene, like it's like almost like a play, like it was like a
playground.
Yeah, kind of like a playground, like that wide open scene, like that was so
that was done. The most impressive part.
That was amazing. Too. Like you walked in, you were like, Jesus, like
the
time and effort that must have gone into putting that together was unbelievable. That's where they did the laser.
You can't talk about multiple parts.
Sure, you can.
I'm not going into detail on anything. I'm just saying that was also really good.
I was going to talk about it.
You can talk about it. Go for it. Jesus.
Go ahead, Kat. Go ahead.
No, I liked the playground too, but
you can't talk about multiple scenes.
Yes, I can talk about it. We've already talked about it. So.
Oh my God, we can all talk about everything collectively. It's okay, children. Go ahead.
I also liked in the playground scene, the bungee person who just like all of a sudden just flew down from wherever and launched at you, and you're like, whoa! But
that was really cool.
Loved the laser kind of that optical illusion of the lasers, like where you walk through and you can't see your feet because it's just.
I would say you couldn't really see. You couldn't really see
no,
below your.
That was
waist.
disorienting too because it was super dark in there. I was like, am I going to walk into a wall? Where do I go? I don't know where I'm going.
So cool. Yeah, they did it. I mean, I liked same thing with that. Like with the outside attraction, with the indoor attraction, there's so much attention to detail. Like I remember at one point, like looking at the fridge or the rat that was in the microwave in that kitchen scene.
Yeah,
and,
that was cool.
Like looking at the fridge and opening it up and then turning around, and I think that was the only time that someone actually scared me. Was I was like kind of just like taking it all in, and I was looking in the fridge, and all of a sudden I turned around and someone was like, "Woo!" and I was like, "Oh, geez, you got me."
Speaking of that fridge scene, so I just remember like when we were walking through before everything was set up, right?
With Matt.
With Matt,
yes, the guy who made the whole thing. Which
I remember he was telling us about. Basically, he had something rigged to make it look like so the fridge door was like constantly like moving back and forth, but you actually could see inside. Like there's a ton
head
of
in there.
There's a head in there and a ton of like old food and stuff. Which I mean. Like, how many people would actually think to look in there? Just incredible,
I did.
like, how... I did too, obviously, because we were aware of it.
When I walk through a haunted house, I'm not there to get scared. Right. I'm there to look at the detail.
Right.
Which is what's... Like, I forgot to bring it up earlier, too. Just another tip of the cap to them is when you buy the tickets and you go into the at the beginning of the... whole attraction, when you're going to get your tickets and you're in that old movie theater style place, they have a big... popcorn maker thing.
Yep.
And there's like cockroaches in it.
Yeah.
Just those little things like that. Just you're like, I like.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
cool. I like that.
Yeah. I remember Mary was saying she was getting a lot of questions about whether or not you could actually get popcorn from there, and she was like, "No, that's not an actual working popcorn maker, unfortunately." No. Yeah. So I mean, I thought this was.
Yes. What are your thoughts?
I loved them both, but I actually thought this attraction was slightly better in my opinion this year. I thought it was cooler. I almost feel like the fact that this is outside, you can kind of change more about it. I feel like the house inside, they kind of, it's the same structure. They can rebuild different things, but they're almost able to get a little bit more creative with the outdoor event than they are with the house. So again, love them both. I just thought that I preferred this one a little bit better this year again because of the theming, the environments. The scares.
There were more actors in there, too.
Yeah, and it also, like, if you didn't know that you were, like, if you didn't know ahead of time that you were outside or the whole thing, like, was not an enclosed building, like, when you're walking through, like, a lot of the scenes, like, have ceilings. So it feels like you're walking, like, through an inside part of it. So it was just incredibly detailed. I know we already mentioned the playground scene with, like, the merry-go-round and then the bungee jump scares. It's just awesome. It's really, really cool, and I would say, you absolutely have to. I think, obviously your ticket gets you into both events, but you don't want to miss either one of these this year, especially Condemned. But yeah, both great. Had an awesome time walking through. I think we overall had a great time.
We did.
Great time.
I kind of want to do it again.
I kind of do too. I was actually thinking that, but I don't know. We'll see. I know we still have to hit up Fear Town this year.
I know.
I would be down to be
doing that.
The Condemned again?
No, with just the flashlight.
Yeah. Oh, you'd be terrified.
Well, let's see what the rest of the month brings.
My favorite thing about the haunted house, I've realized, is from going in front, was trying to figure out
where people are going to go.
Where's the real person? Like, because there's all the fake.
It's like a game.
Like, I'm like, who's going to try and scare me? It's you.
It's you. I know it's you.
Once you figure that out, it's not very scary because you just go, gotcha, knew that was you.
Yeah.
Couldn't scare me. Nice try.
I gotcha. Any final thoughts on Condemned? Anything else you wanted to mention?
No, I love what they've kind of evolved that into, from the Cell and Sanctuary to now Condemned, and kind of like how the guy Matt who made this whole thing into his own kind of baby. Like he did an amazing job. It's awesome.
He sure did.
Yeah.
It was great. So, I mean, I guess that's about as much detail as we can go into without completely spoiling everything.
But
my recommendation is kind of a final thought would be to absolutely go this year.
Oh, 100%.
I know that they are incredibly proud of this event, just like they are every single year. It's their 30th year, and there's a reason, again, that they've been around this long, as successful as they are. And, again, the passion just kind of bleeds through. And just overall a very impressive operation. You have a lot of people that are, that work there, but they also bring in an incredible amount of volunteers each year to scare people in the house, which is incredible too. So, chances are, if you there might be a lot of people out there listening to this show that have volunteered there before. I know I worked there for one season, a couple of nights. I had a lot of fun doing it. I do prefer going through as a guest than working there, but I would say it's something you got to try at least once. Who knows? Maybe we'll volunteer there next year. Maybe we'll do it someday.
Maybe.
That would be cool.
Three of us.
That would be kind of fun.
It'd be a lot of fun.
I'd love that.
Yeah, and then I guess actually, so if you are one of those people who is, I guess not vaccinated or still apprehensive about doing this sort of event, because of COVID-related things, what I would say is that it's not required that you wear a mask going through both of these attractions. I think it is suggested. All of the actors are wearing masks.
Yes.
They do, they do have a lot of signage throughout the lines and everything to keep socially distant while you're waiting in line.
Yep.
But, masks not required. They do suggest it, and again, the actors are all wearing masks. That they actually do a really good job.
I was just going to say, I forgot about that. That was incredible that they were able to make such good makeup with the use of the mask. Like that woman outside of Condemned, the butcher
that
lady,
was
with
awesome.
the spatula burn on her.
Yep.
She was awesome. She was great.
She was
taking
she
your
looked awesome.
orders
Yep.
for whatever.
That was
I don't know.
awesome.
It was weird.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess all I really have left to say is just go to Barrett's Haunted Mansion.
Yep.
And, hey, things are getting back to normal. Haunted attractions are back open this year. And go have yourself some Halloween fun. And there's no better place to do that than at Barrett's Haunted Mansion. So, cool. Anything else? Anything else you guys got?
That's it.
If you don't know, now you know.
If you don't know, now you know. All right, so again, Barrett's Haunted Mansion, all the information that I discussed before about the tickets, about, attraction specifications, blah, 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 their schedule. You can find all that on their website, which is bhmansion.com. They're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search for Barrett's Haunted Mansion. You'll find them. And then for us, if you're interested in more of what we have to say, you can find us on our website, which is ahpod.com, ahhpod.com. We're also on Facebook and YouTube. Just search for America's Hometown Horror. You can also tweet at us at Hometown Horror. And you can follow us on Instagram. That's probably where we are the most active, and that is at Hometown Horror Pod. You can also email us at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com, and you can find our show wherever you listen to your show. Wherever you're listening to this show right now, but Apple, Spotify, Google, Spreaker, Stitcher, etc., etc. My name is Mike. I am the host of America's Hometown Horror. Thanks for joining us for another episode. Always awesome to be doing reviews of local haunts. We have one more coming for you this year, which I won't reveal exactly which one yet. Actually, I already did earlier. We'll be doing Fear. We'll be doing Fear Town. We'll be doing Fear Town at some point within the next couple of weeks, which is one that I've never actually been to. So I'm actually pretty excited. Have you guys ever been there?
No.
Neither have I. So I'm always excited to try something new.
Ever.
Yeah. So we'll be back with some more stuff in the next week or so. But look for a review of Fear Town coming in a couple of weeks. I've also been joined by my esteemed co-hosts, Catherine and Andrew. Say goodbye to your listeners, folks.
Adios, muchachos.
Good night.
Good.
I was like,
Okay. Way to go. Bye.
Good job.
Bye.
Say bye, Otis. Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.